Hello, fellow cyclists and bike travelers. Touring by bike is such a joy, but let's be honest, it can also tire you out. Hi, I'm Slow Eddie Spaghetti, and on this channel, we like to take a closer look at what matters for bike travelers, share experiences, and spread good ideas. For most of us, the next most important thing after a good route is getting a good night's rest. And because we all have our own stories about that, it's a constant theme, always at the back of your mind, especially since any night could potentially turn into a nightmare, quite literally. Now, we all have our own preferences, but many cyclists choose to stay at campsites. As that's what I do most often, I'd like to focus on that in this video. This is what most of us probably imagine when we think of the perfect campsite. Just a patch of grass with a couple of trees providing some shade. A place to unwind after the mental strain of navigating unfamiliar roads and paths. Getting proper rest isn't only important for feeling ready the next day, it also keeps you safe. Staying alert and paying attention is much harder when you're tired. It's easy to make a stupid mistake or fail to notice a car approaching. And it also makes me irritable and impatient, as Vera will certainly confirm. Anyway, I digress. Some campsites are simply in the wrong spot. Next to a racetrack, sandwiched between two overpasses, near a runway, or beside a busy railway line. Of course, the campsite I'm at here is very attractive for cyclists, not just because of the relaxed atmosphere, but also because there are plugs to recharge your phone or e-bike, a fridge, and a shelter to gather and eat. It might be basic, but it meets all cyclists' needs. Sadly, not all campsites are like this. Many are basically just huge car parks for motorhomes and camper vans, leaving you feeling slightly out of place with your tent and struggling to find shade. You're lit up by constant illumination day and night, and good luck finding a fridge or a plug that isn't in the toilet or shower block, leaving your phone waiting to be stolen at any moment. You're often woken up by people slamming doors and idling their diesel engines to warm them up. Which is great because the early bird catches the worm. But we're not all alike. Different people want different things. For many, campsites are less about escaping the rat race and discovering the outdoors, and more about convenience. An affordable way to let the kids run free and spend a bit more time outside on holiday without giving up creature comforts. And families need entertainment, right? And parties. And that's what you get. And pay for as well. Even if it means staying up all night until the last drunk bastard has sung his version of My Way at karaoke at 3 in the morning. This, of course, isn't camping. It's glamping. Despite the sarcasm, I'm not really being judgmental. In fact, I'm not even being sarcastic, because this is simply my point of view based on my own bias. I just try to avoid places that don't suit me. But it also means spending loads of time sorting out the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that can be quite a chore. Sometimes you really have to dig into the details to avoid calamities and unpleasant surprises. Maybe everything looks fine, until you discover there's a village festival going on all night. So basically, what I'm saying is that there are campsites which don't really deserve to be called campsites at all. Why not call them glampsites? A clearer distinction would be useful for everyone. My guess is that most of these glampsites started out as campsites, which is why they're still listed as such. But they've transformed into something else, expensive resorts under the guise of adventure and connection to nature. I bet some people don't leave the campsite once, without a car. But before I do start getting judgmental, I'd like to end on a positive note. There are some truly great campsites out there that are just perfect for cyclists. And sometimes the cyclists even outnumber the motorhomes. In France, they often carry the Accueil Vélo label, which helps you identify them quickly. They're usually inexpensive and easygoing. The one I'm staying at right now is on a farm. If you're ever passing Baulay in the Haute-Saône, I can definitely recommend it. But I'd also like to hear your take. Should a campsite automatically guarantee a restful night? Or should we call them something else if they don't? What about an app specifically for cyclists, or recommendations built into navigation systems? It would save so much time and effort, leaving more for enjoyable things like riding your bike or, as seems to be the case at the moment, watching videos about it. And how do you deal with it if it turns out you've chosen the wrong spot? Do you suffer in silence? Do you wear earplugs? I can't stand them. I find them very annoying. Anyway, it seems to me that many people are too numb to even notice the noise and bright lights around them and don't get disturbed. So I think it's important we talk about these things and that some kind of strategy emerges that we can all agree on. Help get the discussion going by dropping a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy bike traveling, and give the video a like if it gave you something to think about. With so many new people discovering bike touring for the first time, our needs should be better addressed. Until then, keep on cycling.
So what do you think about camping?